Hello everyone, this is Tynrael. Welcome back to another episode of New Horizons Modded Career in Kerbal Space Program. Today we are going to send Bob home, or at least try. I'm going to be using the Waypoint Manager to give us a direction to aim our craft for so that we can coincide with the inclination of our lander probe, which is where we are going to connect to get home. And hopefully that will help us save some fuel. And let's lift off. So it looks like we're stuck in the water. Our thrust away is less than 1. When I built this vessel, I was pretty sure that I used engineer and set it to Laythe, and it told me that I was going to have about 1.6. I also know that I was experimenting with partially full fuel tanks, and I may have been looking at different things at different times, and I'm incorrect about that. But while these are raised up out of the water, let's see if I can get some science from them. I think some of them require land, which I didn't think about when I put them on here, because I knew that I was going to be landing in the water. Surface analyzer, I assume, will require surface, yeah. Laser data. Pointing the wrong way. Whoops. That gets me 25 science. Atmospheric analysis. Good. Collect hydrogen data. Can only usable on the surface. Okay. So hopefully this is going slower than I thought it would be. And I'm not sure. Where did my direction marker go? It's over there. I'm not sure when I should start my gravity turn. But I'm going to keep an eye on my apoapsis. The atmosphere starts at 61, so it's lower than Kerbal, and the gravity is also only 80%. So I should be able to do a gravity turn maybe a little early. I'm also not sure which direction that is on my nav ball. So it's not quite 135. No, not quite. So it looks like maybe 100 on the nav ball. And my prograde is pushing out pretty far because I'm not going fast enough to compensate for the gravity right now. But I'll try to hold it there a little. And when I jettison these, I will be free to work on it a little more. I'll lose my RCS when I jettison that, so I'm gonna hold here a little. I'm still in the lower part of the atmosphere. I don't want to tip over. Looks like that's closer towards the 135. This is not smooth control. $21,000 meters. Let's try to hold in our prograde for now. We've got 2,000 delta V left. We're moving up into the top part of the atmosphere. 30,000. Heating up. I think this needs an additional reaction wheel if I do something like that in the future. I also hope that I'm not going too fast for this part of the atmosphere. I'll slow down a little and stay at my current heading. So we're going to go to about 70 and cut the engines. Slowly throttle them back up. Aim for the horizon. I've got less than 500 meters a second of delta V. That is concerning me. Two minutes. I think that this should keep me up. What does it take to circularize this? I'm fine with as shallow as possible. 36, 56. $300. So I have just enough fuel to get this done. Not as good as I hoped, but the fact that I had to burn some fuel to get just liftoff probably means that I was using the delta V but not considering the thrust to weight, so a lot of that was actually not something that I could use. I'm above the atmosphere now, so I can extend these panels. So either way, even if this can't rendezvous with the rescue craft or the return home stage is fully mobile and we'll be able to dock with this. But it's really, really close for the just to get to orbit, I guess. So I tried overcompensating in certain areas, and I think that in the end I still fall short. But the fact that it was this close to just being able to get into orbit is a little unnerving. Because I'm still not even in orbit yet. And this Wildcat is not fuel efficient at all, but I was hoping it would be enough liftoff to carry those heavy tanks higher. Alright. So 43 meters a second left in this craft after I get to orbit. Now I just have to meet up with the Laythe lander. Alright, so these vessels are docked. Let me pause it for just a moment so that I can give you a quick rundown. I don't know how much of that I'm going to cut out, but I want to tell you some of the basic details as well as how long it took. Okay guys, I'm back. Bob's vessel made it off of Laythe with 43 meters a second, 43, just 2 digits, meters a second of delta V left. And by the time I arranged a close encounter with this other part of my return home mission, it actually took me about 20 minutes to get them connected because this didn't have enough, the smaller portion didn't have enough fuel to do much maneuvering. And while I did put thrusters on this part so that I could control it and have it meet up with this craft if I needed, this amount of monopropellant was not enough to keep rotating the ship all of the time. I estimated that to return home from Laythe, it would take about 6,000 meters a second of delta V. I have 5,948, so the number of 6,000 was kind of just a rough estimate, but that's really, really close. And so I was just going to use Transfer Window Planner to see if there would be an opportune time to actually do the transfer from Laythe to Kerbal and see what the rough estimate for that would be. Earliest departure would be now. Latest departure, I probably don't want to leave him here more than a couple hundred days. So I'll do year 2, day 400. And that would take 6,000 meters a second of delta V. If I give it another year, how low can I go on that? Oh, wow. 3,000 meters a second if I leave in... Oh, that's even... Yeah, that's really far away. It seems like the best time to go is as late as possible. So I guess it comes down to how long I want to have Bob out here. I think that at this point, I'm just going to leave him here for 2 years? I don't know. I'll be moving forward. Well, latest departure, year 4, day 150. I'll be fast tracking Laythe in a year in here. I'm gonna wait. So here we have our Laythe probe around Durso. Let's take a look at how this scan is going. We'll look at the big map. So it looks like in addition to the Alpha impact site, there are 2 other fairly prominent craters. 3,000, 10,000, yes, those are definitely craters. What do we have for biomes? We have highlands, surface, Alpha impact site. It's interesting. Alpha impact site. So I wonder if that's a mistake. I can't seem to find it again, but one of these rocky areas over here was picking up cratered lowlands. Okay, so there's probably 4 or 5 different biomes. But the one that we are going to go to... Well, first things first, I have to stop this from processing things. So we'll stop the scan and analyze it. 52 science. And 55 science. But the only place on Durso that I really want to land is obviously going to be the crater. I'm probably going to continue burning the prograde until I get to about 300 meters a second total, and then let the gravity pull me down to reorient me a little more towards vertical. My current altitude to the surface is 11,000. My vertical speed is 130 and climbing. My horizontal speed is also increasing. I thought that that would start decreasing the higher that my vertical did, but I guess not. I've got 450 meters a second delta V. Altitude 8,000. $7,000 altitude. I may not have enough fuel for this. Yeah, I don't. This crash is going to blow me up. Or maybe not? I anticipate future explosions. One more part to follow, and everything blows up. That's okay. What was the gravity for Durso? I never even looked. So 0.615 gravity is definitely not a light moon like I anticipated that it would be. That is quite a lot of gravity to fight against, and I didn't even do my research to check it out. It's no wonder I exploded. I don't think that I had enough fuel to do anything else. So, well, Bob is waiting for an opportune time to return home. This is my Laythe craft, Laythe, and we might as well get this to Laythe. I'm going to time warp to this maneuver and see how close I can get the encounter from there. My Titanus probe is still pretty far out from its rendezvous. So this maneuver will get me down to 18,000 meters, which is not how low I want to be, but I'm going to do it, and I can adjust my orbit while I'm decelerating to get captured. Another thing that I wanted to let you guys know is shortly after my probe crashed into Durso, I was offered a contract to do a orbital survey, which would require solar particles, a telescope, and a material study. Any two of those three. You may not remember, but in a prior episode, all three of these components were on the top part of the probe that I jettisoned before I went to do my scans. So that contract is a little too late, and it would have been nice if I had something like that earlier, but hindsight is 20/20, and I didn't have that to work with. But if I send anything back to Durso, which I probably will, I will be able to get that. This looks like a good place to stop the episode as we part ways from Laythe and shift our focus to Laythe. We will, of course, be returning probably in the next episode to get Bob sent on his way back to Kerbal after we fast forward time while we explore the Laythe system. I hope you guys are enjoying the series, and as always, feel free to comment, like, and or subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode.